At the beginning of the movie, we see a girl running through the forest. A black figure follows her. The figure catches up, grabs her, and throws her into a freshly dug grave. Clods of earth fall onto the poor girl's face. She claws her way to the surface, but the villain presses down on her and the girl finds herself on a hospital bed. She screams and begs them to let her go. Her mother is beside her, pleading not to tie her daughter down, but no one listens. A nurse gives the girl an injection, and she drifts off to sleep. Waking up, she checks whether what's happening is real. To do that, she needs to ask herself a few questions. How likely is this situation, and is anyone else reacting to what she sees? Her father is speaking with the doctor. It turns out his daughter, Rain, has schizophrenia. She wants to stop taking the meds because they make her feel like a zombie. The man is angry since his daughter has been treated for 3 years and it hasn't helped. The doctor explains the illness is incurable and suggests admitting the girl to a clinic, but the father refuses. They decide to change the prescriptions. Rain finally comes fully to her senses and asks the nurse for a pencil. She loves to draw. After being discharged from the clinic, she goes to see her psychiatrist. The psychiatrist says that if she has another episode, she will be forced into treatment. Rain and her parents drive home by car. When the father gets out, he chats with the neighbor, Miss McConnell, Rain's school teacher, and the mother goes inside without even saying hello. The neighbor leans into the car and tells Rain she's really looking forward to seeing her back in class. The girl heads up to her room and remembers how she tore the mattress and scratched her father in the walls. At the time, it all felt like a nightmare in the woods. In the evening, her parents go to bed. The mother says this is all her fault, and the man stays silent. The morning feels like family time. Rain paints a portrait of her mom while her father cooks breakfast. The girl takes her medication and goes to school. She glimpses a black figure in the cemetery and tries not to react. The school day turns into a disaster because Rain spills her pills in front of everyone, and her friend refuses to talk to her. At lunch, classmates make fun of her, say she's crazy, and there isn't room at their table for all her personalities. A friendly new kid named Caleb sits down beside her. He entertains her with a few tricks and suggests hanging out after class. Rain goes to the store for medicine and runs into her teacher. The teacher has a strange mix of purchases, wine and kids' cereal. The girl steps outside and sees a black figure around the corner grabbing a child. She realizes it's a hallucination and meekly takes nearly a dozen pills at home. Her father is invited to work a banquet, but he doesn't want to leave his daughter. John is a chef, and his restaurant went under. Rain insists that he accept the offer. In the evening, she sees a little girl in the window of the house next door. Her mother distracts her. The girl talks about what happened at school and her dream of becoming an artist. In the morning, the ritual repeats. Rain paints her mother's portrait. Her mom complains about being tired and jokes that she's getting old. At school, the girl tries to talk to her friend, but the friend recoils, saying she doesn't want to catch madness. Caleb shows up again and suggests they skip class. They drive around in his beater, a wreck with a hole in the floor and broken wipers. Soon, they pull over to wait out a downpour. The sounds start to get on the girl's nerves, and a voice on the radio whispers that she should run. Caleb guesses she's afraid of Rain. Rain asks him to take her home and wonders whether she should tell him about her illness. In the evening, the father leaves for the banquet, and the mother has figured out that Rain had a date and asks for details. At night, the girl thinks she hears the neighbor's child calling for help. Rain's parents rush in when she screams. They remind her that Miss McConnell has no children, but in the morning, father and daughter go to check anyway. In the neighbor's attic, there are dolls everywhere. The woman insists they belong to her mother and that she never comes up here. But Rain notices clean streaks on the dusty window and a fresh sewing almanac. The father doesn't believe the neighbor is lying and asks his daughter not to go into that house, because if the neighbor complains, Rain will be locked in a psych ward. The girl searches the internet for information about missing children, but there are too many, and she can't identify the girl. She goes to her psychiatrist and talks about the abduction. The doctor notes this is a serious accusation that will have consequences for everyone. The psychiatrist suggests that Rain is projecting her fear of losing freedom. Rain suddenly has a vision, as if she is trapped inside her own portrait and then tears her way out. The girl agrees with the doctor. At home, she cooks dinner for her parents without mentioning the child. Her father and mother exchange a few jokes. In the morning at school, Rain talks with Caleb. She learns he has no cell phone and no social media accounts. Suddenly, it seems to her that everyone is staring. She panics, runs outside, and spots police officers. The girl hides, thinking the teacher called them to have her sent to a hospital. Caleb finds Rain, and she tells him about the kidnapped girl, and he promises to help. After classes, they drive to the neighbors together. The boy gives the girl a neuron-shaped pendant, saying he likes her brain. They sneak into the house but can't open the attic. Right then, the homeowner returns, but the friends manage to get away. Her father is renovating his daughter's room and remembering happy moments with her. And Rain starts hallucinating in the shower, as if everything is flooded with red liquid. She runs through her checklist questions and realizes it isn't real. In her room, her mother is waiting, looking out the window and sadly saying she wishes she could see what her daughter sees. She suspects Rain invented Caleb out of loneliness. The girl protests because he exists and you can talk with him. However, her mother points out that Rain could talk with her too. The girl answers that it isn't the same. In the morning, Rain and Caleb see the neighbor at school. The girl decides to search the neighbor's house again, but the boy suggests doing something normal. They end up going to a cafe and a water park. Then they return to school and find the girl from the window online. It's Malia, who went missing in another state. Rain is thrilled that she was right. Suddenly, she sees her old friend having a panic attack. She wants to help, but the friend screams that just because Rain has schizophrenia doesn't mean everyone is insane. Caleb hears all of this. Rain tells him the truth. Because of her illness, she doesn't trust her eyes and ears. The boy calmly says that people are different and everyone is dealing with something. At home, Rain finds her mother sleeping, and the mother is surprised she came back so late. The girl replies that it's only 7 in the evening, and her mom can also go out and talk to people, since even she manages it sometimes. Her father calls his daughter to check out her freshly renovated room. She takes a quick look at the window and says she'll stay in the other room for now. That night, she dreams of the forest and a girl, but a different one. Fair-haired, not dark-haired. The girl calls for her mom, and a woman's voice asks Rain to do something. Rain wakes up, steps out of her room, and sees her mother sorting through her childhood photos and sobbing. In the morning, during class, Rain starts doubting whether Caleb is real. While everyone is working on a test, he turns his in early and gets a high grade. The girl hands her sheet to the teacher and heads home. Caleb climbs into her room through the window. Rain says he's made up because guys that perfect don't exist. He replies that she doesn't look like anyone else either, and that's exactly why he likes her. Suddenly, both of them hear a child scream. They decide to sneak into the neighbors through the garage, break a window, but the teacher hears it, yanks the curtain aside, and sees Rain. The angry neighbor calls the police and says it's one thing to ask her stupid questions, but smashing windows and hurling accusations that destroy her career is too much. The woman hands the father a drawing that Rain turned in instead of her test, and in it a woman is covering a little girl's mouth with her hand. She demands that the girl be sent to a clinic. After the neighbor leaves, a huge argument erupts. The man shoves the pills into his daughter's mouth. She bites him, and he hits her across the face. Rain promises to kill herself so she won't ruin his life. In the end, the father cools down and asks forgiveness. In the morning, Rain quarrels with Caleb because the boy ran off, and her father decided she imagined him. She pretends she's no longer interested in the neighbor, but at home, she sees the teacher with a child in the window and asks Caleb to come over. She's obsessed again with getting into that house, but the boy is firmly against it. He notices a cabinet stuffed with medications. At that moment, Rain's mother comes in. The girl is glad her mom sees that her friend is real. They talk, and the woman leaves them. Suddenly, Caleb gets up and leaves too. The boy doesn't answer messages and doesn't show up at school. The teacher offers to talk with Rain, but the girl slips into a psychotic episode and runs away. She can't reach her psychiatrist and walks into a cemetery where she sees a statue of an angel crying blood. At home, a mirror starts talking to her, and she smashes it. Her mother rushes in, and Rain threatens her with a painting spatula. She says a person with yellow eyes wants to claim the girl as a reward. Rain screams that everything happening is her mother's fault. Suddenly, her father walks into the room and reveals the terrible truth. Her mother died 3 years ago. Rain doesn't believe it and remembers a recent dinner when her parents were talking. The man admits he played along, because when his daughter remembered that her mother had died, she relived the pain of loss all over again. And with her fantasy, the family was actually happier than in reality. In shock, Rain runs out of the house, and her father twists his ankle and can't catch up to her. The girl has another hallucination. Supposedly, the neighbor tells her that Malia has been dead for a long time too. Rain sneaks into the teacher's house, grabs a knife, and heads up to the attic. The door is unlocked. There she finds a girl, but a fair-haired one, not Malia. And next to her, Rain's mother is hanging by a noose. The girl takes her down, and the mother suddenly starts talking and confesses she doesn't want to leave her daughter. But Rain answers that she doesn't want to be insane because of this. The woman says her daughter imagined the girl. Rain notes that no, the only person she invented was her mother. And then Rain finds a child's pencil on the floor. The teacher comes home and sits down to eat. At the same time, Rain creeps down the stairs with the knife. She sees a locked door to the basement, finds the keys, and discovers a cage inside. Malia is sitting in it. The neighbor hears a noise and finds the girl. She tries to convince Rain that none of this is real. She speaks gently, saying she won't scold her and won't tell her father anything. She claims she knows what it's like to lie in a psych ward. Suddenly, Caleb smashes a window and gets into a fight with the teacher. And Rain, meanwhile, escapes with the girl. Her dad meets her outside. Rain worries about Caleb. The father gently says there's no boy in the basement. But suddenly the boy climbs out after all. Soon the police take the girl away, and an ambulance takes Caleb, but he still manages to set up a date with Rain. Sometime later, the father and daughter go to the cemetery with flowers. Rain says the pills help because she can tell reality from imagination. She still hears voices, but she doesn't see her mom. At home, she settles down to sleep in her old room. She turns on the bed, and there is her mother lying beside her, gently saying she loves her and will never leave her. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.